I unlocked the planetarium dome after hours. What the stars refused to hide. I didn't unlock the dome because I care about astronomy more than oxygen. I unlocked it because stars don't flatter, and I needed a room where the ceiling wouldn't lie for either of us. If you haul crates of optics up a spiral stair on a Saturday when the volunteers have all called in sick, the planetarium tech remembers your face. I had. So when I texted Celeste near midnight, she answered in the tone of someone who trusts favors over contracts. You get the dome until 1. Projector, on standby, auto sequence queued. No adjustments to the star field. And because you look like someone planning a courtroom, no trials after 2. She laughed like a person who had watched marriages end under artificial constellations. At 11:36 p.m. my phone buzzed with the sentence our life can type asleep. Loadout ran late, quick debrief turned into a drink, might crash at the office, don't wait up. My wife is Clara. She can talk donors into joy and teenagers into silence. For a year we've been excellent at mercy and stingy with appetite. Then the operations lead walked into our calendar, the kind of man every story hires. Sleeves rolled, gaffer in a tote, patience where arrogance usually lives. His name is Adrian. He stands exactly one respectful step from married women, which keeps rooms lawful and husbands distracted. The dome hummed alive when I hit the switch. The star field spread itself, a slow, arrogant drift, galaxies projected in white precision across curved black. The seating was steep enough to make honesty a survival skill. I set 2 paper cups of coffee on the console rail and waited in the middle row, staring at Orion as though he had answers. They came in at 12:04, footsteps softened by carpet that had listened to a century of field trips. Clara first, hair pinned in the shape competence requires, coat folded over her arm like evidence she hadn't filed yet. Adrian behind her, sleeves shoved, tote at his hip, eyes scanning exits like a man cataloging alibis. He saw me first. Men who carry after midnight learn to recognize husbands before constellations. He stopped at the aisle line, palms visible, the posture of furniture that doesn't need a script. You rented the stars, Clara said with half a smile. That's very you. I wanted a room where the light left before you did, I said. Say it under this ceiling. It refuses to clap. Adrian looked at the exit sign as though it might absolve him. Need me? He asked her, not me. I need you exactly there, she said, pointing to the floor stripe in the aisle. If I want less distance, I'll use your name. He obeyed. Good men do. It keeps them employed and inconvenient. I dimmed the sequence until only Orion and Cassiopeia glowed above us. Say it, I told her. In an elevator, she said, because fate syndicates its scripts. 2 weeks ago, between floors and nouns, I kissed him, quick, mint, rehearsal. He stepped back. He said my name like a lock. I hated him for being the adult. I hated me for liking it. Tonight I almost followed the part of me that loves doors more than rooms. I came here. Do you want me to hit him? I asked, hearing my own absurdity. I want you to choose me, she said. Not rescue, appetite. I reached and set my hand at the back of her neck, thumb pressing the small notch I keep for emergencies that should be pleasures. Her eyes closed like a vote read aloud. I kissed her, jurisdiction, not apology. She answered like a woman who had been a plan all day and wanted 4 minutes where her mouth was not a job description. My other hand slid along her ribs to the line where fabric states the law. I stopped, because I like the man I wake up as. She took my lower lip between her teeth for one decisive beat and laughed into my cheek, the laugh that buys me February. Do you still want to hit him? She whispered. I want to thank him for stepping back, I said, and I want to owe him nothing else. That's a budget, she said. We can live on it. The dome rotated slowly, simulated sky performing for nobody. A meteor shower ghosted above us. Clara tilted her head back, mouth parted as though the falling light were telling a joke she didn't want to miss. "Tell me the worst thing you almost did," she said. "I sat in a motel lot with a key I didn't ask for," I said. "Watched brass try to become my name. I laughed until it stopped auditioning and drove home. I wanted a story more than a life and forgot which one pays rent." "I almost texted you proof," she said. "Screenshots, timestamps. I almost confused evidence with love. Then I drank water in a lobby until the mirror remembered me." Adrian cleared his throat in the polite key. "Loadin' at 9, he said to the carpet. "Truck needs 4 backs and 0 speeches." "Coffee on me," I said, which meant thank you and also stay decent and also forgive me for hatting you at 12:30 a.m. I nudged the projector sequence to pause. The stars froze mid-fall. The silence deepened, a cathedral with better accuracy. Clara leaned into me, her head against my shoulder. "Do something foolish," she said, "but survivable." I pulled a grease pencil from my pocket and wrote small on the black armrest where a cleaning rag won't find it. "Choose before the elevator does." She took the pencil, turned her wrist to the dim star field and wrote along her skin in tiny reverse. "Appetite, not theater." I kissed the ink dry. The dome approved by not flickering. We kept our clothes. We kept our life. We made heat that could walk through a lobby without borrowing grace. The dome pretended not to notice, but Orion watched like a man who's seen everything twice. "Invite me when you're interesting," I said, "not just when danger mistakes itself for charm." "I am inviting you," she said. "Now and at 9, and in the lobby where the fluorescents hate everyone." We watched the sky resume, the constellations sliding obediently west. She told me small truths, how her shoulders stiffen when competence becomes costume, how she wants my hand at her neck when the spreadsheet thinks it's the boss, how she misses appetite in daylight. I told her mine, how I count stairs when I'm scared, how I love the sound of tape tearing off a finished box, how tired I am of being good and how ready I am to be generous. At 12:47 the console ticked a minute small judge. I shut down the sequence, brought up the house lights and watched the ceiling collapse back into plaster. We sat in the glare, 2 people caught by a janitor's honesty. She smiled like mercy and touched my wrist, daylight legal. I breathed like someone who had decided to live here. We left the dome tidy. Adrian held the door like scenery with one line. "If I'm in the way," he said, "say so and I'll be a hallway." "You're a hallway," I said. "At 9 you're a van." He nodded once, treaty signed without ceremony. Outside the air had chosen a temperature. The parking lot light buzzed its tired hymn. We stood by her car and practiced turning tomorrow into sentences. She touched my wrist again, small, deliberate, and something inside me took attendance and found me present. At 9, the community center smelled like lemons spelling competence. Adrian was already stacking tables with the inevitability that teaches gravity manners. I carried the other end and let the sun claim my spine. Clara moved through the room with a clipboard, and a mouth volunteers obey without punishing themselves. When she passed me, she tapped the ink on her wrist, and the morning selected us without speeches. During break, I set a coffee by Adrian's elbow. "Thank you," I said, "for being the adult in the elevator." "Thank you," he said, "for renting a ceiling that doesn't flatter." He looked at the exit like a man grateful for doors. We loaded the van without theater. Tape squealed, lists forgave themselves. Gravity cooperated for the day. We didn't tell anyone about the dome. We taped a planetarium ticket stub to the fridge under the magnet shaped like the ridiculous boat we bought one summer we didn't ruin. Sometimes when the house auditions for courtroom, we sit in the dark and watch the ceiling until it forgets plaster and remembers stars. Sometimes she texts come and means stand next to me while I bend a room into competence. Sometimes I text come and mean watch me be a body before I become a plan. Sometimes we take a friend who mistakes proof for love and let the dome explain. Underpainting is always there. Stars don't flatter and no trials after two. Choose before the elevator does. Write small where the rag won't reach. Kiss in light that refuses to lie. And leave before dawn so the sky can keep the story.